What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So let's talk about Rivian for a second. I want to go over some of the data points, some expectations for this week, and where I see things going, at least in the short term. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did go down 2.74%, as did majority of the stocks out there, because of, oddly enough, good earnings coming out from banks. And it kind of falls back once again on Powell, but I did feel that it did need to pull back, similar to what I said on my last video. Because if you do look at a lot of the data points, such as stochastic, it is considered very overbought. And there is some justification for it to go up as much as it did to some regard, because of course, huge demand for their products, good numbers coming out for Q2, so production and delivery numbers, and still once again reiterating I think their year-end target. So definitely a lot of good justification for it to go up, but still I would rather see a little bit more of a step-laddered approach, so it does have a lot of good support, because if you get very much overbought, it can usually go down almost as fast as it does go up. So again, based on my last video, I did say it does need to go to around the 2270 mark. So I do feel at least the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, or potentially Wednesday, it is going to go and continue down to the 2270. There is some good data coming out potentially, one of which is retail sales coming out on Tuesday, and that could really change the dynamic of what I just said, similar to Wednesday. So Wednesday after close, Tesla is going to be announcing their Q2 earnings, and whatever happens to Tesla usually does trickle down to the rest of the EVs, even more so with Rivian, because Rivian is now, I think a lot of people have put them on a pedestal as being number 2, unofficially of course. Even every article coming out is talking on Tesla, but then it talks on Rivian and their demand, which, even though I don't really understand the correlation between the Rivian vehicles or their trucks and the whatever it was, the Cybertruck, I don't see the Cybertruck being that successful. But you know what, I could be very much wrong. I am not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. But I am actually a very big fan of Rivian, and I was kind of skeptical. I really did like it fundamentally. It did have a lot of good justification, but what truly sold me and made me a very long-term bull on it is their Q1 earnings, and just how they spoke on the demand, on how they spoke on every aspect of their business, because their management is confident they are going to be out there and stealing market share from Tesla and every other EV or any other company per se that gets in their way. And that is exactly why I really do like Rivian. So again, even though I like it, I still do feel that based on the technicals, it does need to pull back. But beside the point, I'll go over some of the data points that you need to know, but just be aware that of course there's going to be a lot of volatility for the first several days of the week or starting of the week, until there is the earnings on the Wednesday, and whatever comes out from Tesla is going to just point to the direction. But I do feel it might touch that 2270 mark prior to that, like I said. But still, when it came down to Friday, there was $33 million in calls being purchased versus 7.76 million in puts. So based on the options, at least, there is still a good percentage of individuals that is assuming that Rivian is going to continue its trend up, even though it did pull back down, I'll guess, a little bit on Thursday and Friday. But still a lot of optimistic viewpoints on that. If you are bullish, so looking at the calls, this is all the strike prices, expiry dates, everything that you need to know. It is actually anticipated to go to between the $25 to almost $26 range next week. So kind of a different viewpoint on what I did say. I don't know if largely that is because of Tesla and what might come from that. Who knows? As far as big money getting in, that was still reoccurring on, for instance, Friday, and majority of these are biased, and you can tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. And for a Friday, it was fairly good, but you do see some abnormal selling going on now that was starting, for instance, on Friday. So $13 million transaction that was a sell, 1.98 million was a sell as well. So once again, you're kind of seeing a little bit more of a kind of up and down when it comes down to that. But retail seems to be very much in love with Rivian, which rightfully so, like I mentioned. But it definitely has been very odd over the last little bit to see both retail and institutions buying at a pretty significant rate over the last little bit, which I think that kind of justified why it did go up as much as it did. But once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. It is that time of season, once again, when a lot of institutions disclose their positions to the SEC in the form of 13Fs. There was a very big player in the game who did disclose, and that was Vanguard, who increased their position 65.85% in Rivian. So they do now hold a grand total of 61.4 million shares of Rivian. So pretty substantial stuff. And even just taking a step back and looking at a lot of the other smaller fish, majority of them have actually been increasing. A small handful have been closing out their positions 100%, but still majority, I think a lot of good things are coming based on all of this. I'll give you guys a quick overview, for instance, what shorts are doing, and of course what to expect going into next week. So short score is currently 66, utilization is 39.5, so fairly low for that. And based on Friday, they did return 2.68 million shares. So this is kind of bullish, similar to what I mentioned. So you kind of have a little bit more of a divide. So the fact that it was a red day, but yet they also returned almost about 3 million shares, they clearly do feel that whatever happened on Friday was an overreaction, similar to options. So again, you kind of have that viewpoint on that. So once again, what I'm doing and how I'm saying it might touch the 2270 mark, that is ideal because then it would have very healthy technicals. But you know what? I could be completely wrong, and it could just go up to around the $26 mark straight away on Monday. And you know what? I actually own Rivian, so I really don't care if I'm wrong because I am winning that way. So once again, make sure you guys always do your own due diligence. But based on shorts, there is 16.28% of the free float being shorted. 99.84 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow is going up, so the average is 1.21%. But like I've said in the past, I don't see Rivian being a squeeze just based on the data points here. But it is very good to use this as a benchmark and more of a tool to use just to kind of see the opposite viewpoint. So like I said, this is bullish, similar to the data points. So let me know you guys' thoughts. Are you optimistic about, for instance, Tesla's earnings, upcoming earnings? Because I do feel that they're going to be talking on quite a few things. And maybe if they do push back on the Cybertruck, that might be optimistic for Rivian. Because like I said, oddly enough, there is a lot of articles talking about how they are in direct competition in that kind of market per se, and I kind of disagree. I think the Cybertruck, you kind of have to just be a weird individual or maybe just a Tesla fan or a Tesla bull to want to buy a Cybertruck. Who knows? I could be wrong. But based on everything, I do feel that there is going to be a lot of good justification, but a lot of volatility at the same time. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on Rivian in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying over the last little bit, selling. What is your guys' take? Do you guys completely think I am wrong? Do you think it's just going to go straight to 30 this week? Or what is your guys' take on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Today, in fact, is the last day to take advantage of this promo. It's been extended up until the 16th. Link in the description below or also the comment. Sign up for a free account. You get 1 free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Throw $100 at the account. You get 5 free stocks plus a $100 cash reward. So it's a win-win. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Rivian.